Imagine you're trapped in a hotel room and it's locked from the inside. There's no one else there but you and your dead mistress. Outside, the police are about to break down the door. You're the only suspect, and you have absolutely no alibi. That's the nightmare this millionaire finds himself in. Desperate, he hires the legendary defense attorney, a lawyer famous for making the impossible possible. They have just 3 hours to build a defense before a surprise witness testifies. But as they dig into the mystery, every truth he offers only seems to pull him closer to a horrifying reality he can't escape. This is a story where every word might be a clue or a trap, and the line between victim and killer gets blurrier by the minute. Meet Adrian Doria, a guy who has it all: a booming tech company, a beautiful family, and a fresh Man of the Year award. But that perfect picture shatters when he's found unconscious in a hotel room right next to the body of his mistress, a photographer named Laura Vidal. Here's the catch: the room was locked from the inside. The windows were sealed. There was no way in or out. For the cops, it's an open and shut case. Now out on bail, Adrian's lawyer makes a desperate Hail Mary. He hires the legendary Virginia Goodman, a defense attorney who has never lost a case. She specializes in prepping witnesses. She shows up at Adrian's penthouse with bad news. A mystery witness has come forward, and they have exactly 3 hours to build an airtight defense before it all comes crashing down. The board is set for a psychological chess match, where the truth is the only thing that can set him free or bury him for good. Virginia sits across from him, gives him one simple command: tell me everything. But Adrian starts with a story that sounds a little too clean. He claims he and Laura were being blackmailed. An anonymous figure told them to bring 100,000 euros in cash to a remote motel. Once inside, he says someone knocked him out from behind. When he woke up, Laura was dead. He was framed. Virginia listens, her expression unreadable. She immediately sees the holes in Adrian's story. She tells him he shouldn't waste her time. She knows he's holding back. Men like you, she tells him, think you're smarter than everyone. But I've learned one thing: there is no salvation without real suffering. Adrian's confidence begins to crack. He's out of moves and out of time. Virginia leans in. Now, tell me what really happened. He takes a deep breath. The real story, he admits, started 3 months earlier with an affair. His wife, Sonia, thought he was in Paris for a business trip, but he was somewhere in the countryside with Laura. Having overslept, Adrian decided to take a shortcut route. He couldn't stop thinking about Sonia, her trust, her love, the life he was quietly burning down. He tells Laura they should end it, but Laura disagrees. Distracted, he takes his eyes off the road for a split second. A deer darts out, and he swerves, crashing into another car. After the chaos, they're alive, but the other driver, a young man, is slumped over the wheel, lifeless. Panic sets in. Adrian wants to call the police, but Laura refuses. She points out that a police report would expose their affair and ruin both their lives. As they argue, another car approaches. Thinking fast, Laura stages the scene to look like a minor fender bender between him and Adrian. The other driver buys it and leaves. Laura insists they have to cover it up. Her plan is ruthless. Adrian will get rid of Daniel's body and the car and rendezvous with her. Horrified, but terrified of exposure, Adrian agrees. He puts Daniel's body in the trunk of Daniel's car. He drives to a remote lake, his hands shaking. Just as he's about to push the car in, he hears a faint sound from the bush. He freezes, holds his breath, but to his relief, it's only a deer. Adrian shoves the car into the water, watching it sink beneath the surface. On their way back, their car broke down. Adrian hid while Laura called for help, and help arrived too quickly. A kind older man, Tomas Garrido, stops to help the poor lady. He happens to be a retired automotive engineer. Unsurprisingly, Laura gives him false information. Tomas tows her car to his nearby home to fix it. There, Laura meets his wife, Elvira. After freshening up, Laura chats with Elvira. She mentions that their son Daniel works at a bank and is due home soon. In a truly cruel twist of fate, that's the same boy now at the bottom of the lake. Laura, in the house of the parents of the boy they just killed, forced to play the part of a damsel in distress. Just then, Daniel's friends call. He never showed up at the party. The tension in the house is suffocating. Elvira's anxiety level is palpable, but Tomas isn't panicking yet. To calm her, Tomas asks her to call Daniel. Laura freezes. She had taken the boy's phone from the crash site. Elvira dials Daniel's phone, and they hear it ringing. From inside the living room, Laura manages to shove the phone into a couch cushion just in time. A heart-stoppingly close call. Claims she heard nothing. When they call again, the sound comes from right beside them. How could she not hear that the first time? They wondered. Daniel never goes anywhere without his phone. Laura forces a smile and excuses herself, desperate to escape. But Tomas is sharp. He notices little things, like the driver's seat being adjusted for someone much taller. The seeds of suspicion are planted. Laura rejoins Adrian. With low and shaky voice, she tells him everything. Before they go their separate ways, Laura tells him her plan. Adrian has to get rid of the car straight away and file a phony stolen car report. Next, create a fake alibi, making it look like he was indeed in Paris on business. No one would ever connect them to the crash. The next day, Adrian forces himself back into routine. His company, Global GoTech Media, is expanding into Asia. His life, at least on the outside, is perfect again. But then, the news breaks. Daniel Garrido is officially declared missing. Back in the present, Virginia is informed. The witness has arrived. She tells Adrian, "We're running out of time." A few days later, Adrian sits in a high-stakes meeting with his Asian investors. The police arrived. They found debris from a car crash just a few miles from the Garrido's house. But there's no police record of any such accident. Tomas Garrido had reported picking up a nervous young woman, Rachel, the fake name Laura gave them, that same day, claiming she hit a deer. The police show Adrian a sketch of Rachel. Ask if he knows her. He feigns confusion. "No, why would I?" But the officer isn't buying it. The car that Rachel was driving is registered to Adrian. He insists it was stolen from a car park that weekend, but when asked for the parking ticket, he says he lost it in Paris. Convenient, isn't it? Outside, Felix demands the truth, so he tells him everything. And now, Felix's mission is to erase Adrian's name from the file and make everyone believe he was in Paris. Weeks later, the police drop the case. There's evidence of his trip, but Virginia stares him down, unflinching. "Felix failed you on the first one. Your name was never removed. It's still in the file." Before long, news breaks that Daniel Garrido is now a wanted man for embezzling money from his bank. Laura later admits she did it. She took Daniel's wallet and used his information to frame him as a fugitive. He paints Laura as the mastermind, the ruthless one, and he was just a terrified guy along for the ride. For a while, the cover-up seemed to work. Adrian's alibi holds, and he's cleared by the police. But this secret is too restless to stay buried. Tomas Garrido, who never believed his son was a thief, began his own quiet, relentless investigation. Months later, Adrian's empire finally blooms. His company enters the Asian market. Headlines crown him Businessman of the Year, a man from grass to glory. Then comes a request for an interview. Tomas, disguised as a reporter, confronts him. The old man, calm but deadly. He said painfully, "My son didn't run away. He's dead." He recounts the day the police spoke to him. Daniel's phone was used shortly before he picked up that woman. That meant the phone couldn't have been in the house. And the car's seat had been adjusted. There was someone else, someone taller. Tomas leans closer. "I believe that person was you." Adrian denies it. He asks Adrian to light his cigarette. A simple request. When the lighter flicks open, Tomas's eyes lock on it. Recognition. It's the same one he saw in the car that night. But Adrian, cold, defiant, denies everything. Tomas tries to press him further, but security drags Tomas away. After that, he never saw Tomas again. Virginia suggests maybe someone connected to Daniel killed Laura, but Adrian waves it off. He has his own theory. The blackmailer. Months later, Adrian gets a package from someone who claims he knows everything. He informs Laura. The message demands they bring 100,000 euros to room 715 at a remote hotel. Desperate, they decided to go, hoping to just pay the person off and make it all go away. Laura goes in first, as they didn't want to be seen together. Inside, they realized it was a trap when he receives an incriminating text from Laura's phone. The blackmailer made her dump it earlier. They tried to leave, but out of nowhere, someone hits him from behind, knocking him out cold. When he comes to, the room is a mess. The money is all over the floor, and Laura is dead in the bathroom. The door is locked from the inside. The windows are sealed shut. That's when the police burst in. To them, it's an impossible crime with only one possible suspect, Adrian. This brings Adrian's story full circle. He's convinced the blackmailer is the other driver from the day of the accident. The man must have seen through their charade, or perhaps saw him submerge the car. But Virginia isn't buying it. She can see he's steering the story away from Daniel. The blackmailer theory makes him sound less guilty, but far less believable. The jury will never buy it, unless you can answer 3 questions. 1. Why did Laura's phone send you that incriminating message? 2. If the killer wanted money, why leave it behind? And 3. How did he get in and out of a locked room? Adrian goes silent, then throws the challenge back to her. She proposes a chilling alternative. What if the blackmailer was Tomas Garrido, seeking revenge, not money? She paints a picture of a grieving father ignored by the police. He blackmailed and lured them to the motel, used Laura's phone to send the damning message. When panic set in, he killed her and framed you. But Tomas didn't stop there. She points to the window of an apartment across the street, telling him, Tomas Garrido is right there. He kept watching your every move, every person close to you. He watched when Felix got you out on bail. He was watching when Felix hired me. Then her phone rings. The mysterious witness's identity has been uncovered. It's the driver. They don't have his name yet, but time is slipping away. Virginia lays it out. The only way to save you is to frame Tomas Garrido. That means confessing to what happened to Daniel. Adrian refuses. They can't prove how he got in and out of the room. Virginia continues. You see, Elvira happens to work at the same motel. Tomas used her access to sneak in. He hid in the wardrobe, sent the texts, then murdered Laura. When the police arrived earlier than expected, Elvira discreetly locked the window behind him, sealing the illusion of an impossible crime. The police never connected the dots, because Felix erased your name from Danny's case. Finally, she suggests they admit to the cover-up, but pin it all on Laura, a work of legal genius. But to sell this story in court, she needs the exact location of Daniel's car, so her people can get there first and plant the evidence. Adrian asks, what about the witness? Virginia's tone changes. There is no witness. She admits she made it up, because I knew you'd never tell the truth otherwise. Adrian's face darkens. Why didn't you just ask? Because I needed to see what kind of man I was defending, she says. He chuckles coldly. I wanted to see how you'd make Tomas disappear from that motel room, before trusting you. Then, feeling safe, Adrian finally reveals what he's been hiding, the location of the car. Then comes the horror. Daniel was still alive when I pushed the car into the lake. For the first time, Virginia looks shaken. 30 years defending monsters. Yet this confession cuts deep. Adrian, unbothered. He would have identified me. It was the only way. Virginia swallows her disgust. It's my duty to defend you, she says, voice trembling. But arrogance like yours, that's what gets men like you caught. Regaining composure, Virginia pushes him again. If I'm going to defend you, I need the whole truth. Your version doesn't add up. Her voice sharpens. You say Laura was the mastermind. I say you were. You stopped her from calling the police. You took Daniel's wallet. You framed Daniel. Because unlike Laura, you had the means. Adrian denies it. She presses harder. She reveals Laura's medical records indicate anxiety attacks, sleepless nights. After the accident, she couldn't live with the guilt. Virginia says she wanted to make things right. Maybe she contacted the Garridos. arranged a meeting at the hotel where Elvira worked. Laura planned to trap you, make you confess. She programmed the message to send automatically, a safety trigger. But when you realized the setup, rage took over and you killed her. Virginia's theory is merciless and hauntingly logical. Adrian snaps back. If she told the Garridos, why didn't they go to the police? Because they can't prove a crime without Daniel's body. Adrian laughs bitterly. You can't prove any of this. Neither can you, she replies sharply. Still clinging to his version, Adrian points to a photo. Proof, he says, that Elvira was there when the police arrived. But Virginia says it's a fake. The reflected image proves it. Elvira was off that day. She gives him a final condition. Confess to Daniel's murder, and I'll save you from Laura's. Cornered, Adrian breaks. Fine, I killed her. He has laid his soul bare, confident that attorney-client privilege protects him, and that Virginia will now use this truth to build his perfect lie. With the full confession hanging in the air, Virginia, satisfied, gives him a 10-minute break. She asks him to return Felix's call, who had left him a message earlier, and then she's gone. Adrian calls Felix. He sounds worried and excited. He's been trying to reach him. He's found the driver and handled it. He won't be a problem. Then the line breaks. Static interference. Adrian notices liquid dripping from Virginia's pen. Strange. It's not a pen. It's a transmitter. Panic sets in. He looks at her notepad. Coward, imposter, murderer. Her disgust written boldly. The pages are blank. He scrambles to the window and looks across the street, to the apartment where she said Tomas was watching. And there she is. The woman he knew as Virginia Goodman is taking off a wig and a mask. Underneath, Elvira Garrido, his entire confession recorded. Standing next to her is Tomas Garrido, ready to call the police. Adrian is completely and utterly broken, played by the very people he destroyed, caught in a trap more brilliant than any lie he could ever tell. As this new reality crashes down on him, his doorbell rings. He opens it, and standing there is the Real Virginia Goodman, right on time for their appointment. His perfect murder has just gone perfectly wrong. What did you think of that final twist? Did Adrian's story have you fooled? Let me know down in the comments. If you love recaps of smart thrillers like this one, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching.